Over the years, I've developed a love for the roguelike genre. With the exception of Dota, I think I'm going to be playing that cursed game till hell freezes over. Roguelikes are my most played PC games without a doubt. Ever since that first taste of what they could be with the original Binding of Isaac back around 2011, I've been completely hooked on the genre and so many of the games that took their inspiration from this classic. As well as making this video a complete love letter to these great titles, I really wanted to go into why I've developed this infatuation with roguelikes and dive into what makes them so special to me. Before we get into things though, I do want to give a quick mention that in several cases the games I'll be talking about can be considered more roguelite than roguelike, but it's a much more niche term and it's just getting into semantics at this point. So, first and foremost, what's a roguelike? There's a few key aspects that tie all these games together despite the crazy diversity I'll be going into later. At its core, a roguelike is a game which shares key features with the 1980 game Rogue, namely procedural generation and permadeath. For myself and many others, Binding of Isaac was the first reason we got into the genre, and also an icon that influenced various titles down the line. From there I've fallen in love with so many other games like it, except FTL. I'm really not good at FTL, and it's a rule that I must hate when I'm terrible at. That aside, what's truly amazing about the genre is the creativity that developers have shown to orchestrate these unique gameplay twists on the core themes of a roguelike. First, you have the classics, what I call movies and shooties, that's trademarked by the way. Games like Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, and the original Risk of Rain all fall into this basket. These are more the standard roguelike experience you'd expect, of moving through unique stages in a 2D setting, collecting random upgrades to improve your character, and following the satisfying process of getting better each run by learning through experience. Then there's the games that start to get a bit out there with their gameplay design, and I want to run through a few of them that are really great to me. First, Crypt of the Necrodancer blew my mind when it came out. Having all of your actions required to be on time with the beat of the game's jam and soundtrack was a blast, especially when you can also use your own music. Didn't say it was good music, it was on my computer. On the other hand, One Step from Eden takes the real-time, tile-based, ability roulette-driven combat from the Mega Man Battle Network games and jams them into one beautiful beast. It absolutely fries my brain as the fights get more convoluted and more difficult, but if you can learn to find the order in the chaos, you'll feel like an absolute god. Meanwhile, Risk of Rain 2 beautifully translates its predecessor's fantastic visual themes and gameplay into a 3D setting, making for a game I sank way too much time into. Initially I had some trepidation surrounding the transformation of a 2D game into 3D this way, but the great roster of characters, the unique items and environments, and the hidden secrets to find all worked really well in this setting. As you can see, there's just so many ways that you can spin the genre as a whole, and it's amazing when developers are able to successfully marry two concepts in order to elevate the gameplay qualities of both. It's why I love the genre. The freedom within it and how you can pick up so many different roguelikes and get a wildly different experience every time is truly amazing. Now the one thing that normally tilts me in games is dying. It's the reason why I avoid the Souls series on the whole. I just get super frustrated a lot of the time, either because I feel like the game cheated me somehow out of a death, or that I just suck. Looking back, I think I just suck. The exception to this is in roguelikes. The reason being is that dying is all part of the fun. While yes, there's always a bit of frustration around losing a run that you had maybe bad luck getting items on, or not being able to beat a stage that you keep dying to, the overall gameplay loop of dying and firing a run back up immediately is really enjoyable. You have instant feedback and improvement into what item combinations work well, and what to look out for hopefully to not die again. Many games within the genre also tend to add mechanics that grow your character's long-term progression between your runs. Be it unlocking new items to find in the future runs, permanent upgrades to your character, or new characters themselves to play, you always get something for dying. Hell, even if the game technically gives you nothing, you're more experienced than you were one run before now, and ready to kick some butt. Hades to me is the pinnacle of how to make death a good time. Not you, Thanatos. When you die or complete a run, you're sent back to the main hub in the underworld, filled to the brim with engaging characters that you can expand your relationships with. Having completed the main story and working towards the epilogue myself, it feels like there's an almost limitless amount of conversation to be had with your underworld buddies. While I'm certainly not in a rush to end a run early, I mean look at this big boy win streak, I'm not breaking that for this video. I'm never frustrated with a death because I'm still progressing my narratives with all the various characters that I get along with. The great variety in upgrades, new weapons and cosmetics that you can buy for the main character's Zagreus are all well and good, but for me what really keeps me hooked, in Hades in particular, is the phenomenal writing and voice acting, and that's why it's my game of the year for last year. Something else that I touched on in my Kingdom Hearts critical video, you should watch that too by the way, link in the description, is how accomplishing it feels to beat a well-designed challenge mode in a game. Roguelikes aren't designed for a new player to pick up the game and just beat in one go. Unless you're a superhuman, you're gonna die at least once, but more likely many, many times. Even when you beat the game, you're probably going to fire up a new run and every now and then still die anyway. Not only is there a satisfaction in roguelikes in progressing to a new stage or fighting a new boss or completing a run with some challenge modifiers on, but there's also a satisfaction in learning what abilities and items couple together to be downright broken. This combined with your ever-improving skill cap leads to a crazy and enjoyable experience as you just tear down the game which once did the same to you. Take my first ever win in Binding of Isaac way back when, for example. Brimstone is already a strong item that allows you to charge up this mega powerful death beam thing, and in the same run I ended up getting this combined with an item called the Ludovico technique, which normally lets you control floating tears, and then I had this powerful swirling laser beam tornado of death that you remotely control and just sort of fling into enemies from far away. It's obscene and completely overpowered, which is amazing, and probably the only reason why I beat the run. But even though it's pure cheese, I still feel like I was getting the game back for all the deaths that I copped up until that point, and would then inevitably cop as well until I learned how to actually play the game. So yeah, the moral of the story is just that roguelikes are a really, really fun genre that's stuck with me for almost a decade now. I really do love them, and I'd strongly encourage you to check some of them out, and hopefully you'll enjoy them as much as I do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey everyone, thanks again. I hope you enjoyed the better mic quality this time. It's been a big upgrade from the last setup I've had. And I just wanted to say that if you want to like and subscribe, it really does help me out a lot. Thanks again, have a great day.